I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell voiced support for the Ukraine aid bill on the Senate floor Thursday. This comes as the Senate plans to vote on the $40 billion package later today. McConnell said, quote, "Anyone concerned about the cost of supporting a Ukrainian victory should consider the much larger cost should Ukraine lose." Here's more from the Kentucky Republican.
Today, the Senate will approve more lethal assistance for Ukraine, and it's going to be a big bipartisan landslide. As a matter of moral principle, the United States is proud to support a sovereign democracy's self-defense. Innocent Ukrainians have been subjected to wanton cruelty, but aid for Ukraine goes far beyond charity. The future of America's security and core strategic interests will be shaped by the outcome of this fight. Anyone concerned about the cost of supporting a Ukrainian victory should consider the much larger cost should Ukraine lose. In Europe, close allies and trading relationships would suddenly be hundreds of miles closer to the territory of an aggressive, emboldened autocrat. Our own security requirements on the continent would grow substantially. And adversaries on the other side of the world would be tempted to follow Russia's lead. Communist China has already been stepping up its saber-rattling toward the free people of Taiwan. More tough talk, more airspace incursions, more evidence of their utter disregard for the rule of law. Our friends in the Pacific see this connection very clearly. As Japan's Prime Minister put it, quote, "We must show that there are consequences to violence by Russia." Another quote from him, "Ukraine may be East Asia tomorrow." Many of us are convinced that China is our most significant strategic challenge. Successful long-term competition with the PRC will require having European partners firmly on our side. We will sorely need the trust and the relationships that abandoning Ukraine would exhaust. Turning our backs on Ukraine would harm our goals in Asia, not advance them. So I'll be a proud vote for America's national interest and vote to approve this badly needed assistance today. I encourage every senator on both sides to join this bipartisan supermajority. The most expensive and painful thing America could possibly do in the long run would be to stop investing in sovereignty, stability, and deterrence before it's too late. Now, on a related matter, last weekend I was honored to meet with the leaders of Sweden and Finland in their capitals and discuss their pursuit of membership in NATO. Senators Collins, Cornyn, Barrasso, and I visited Stockholm and Helsinki just as their elected governments were preparing to take this historic step of applying for NATO membership. It will be a further honor to co-host our friends, President Niinisto and Prime Minister Andersson, here in the Capitol later today. For 73 years, NATO's collective strength has preserved peace in Europe and security for the United States and for Canada. Even from outside NATO's membership roster, Sweden and Finland have long been two of our most capable and reliable partners. Each has invested seriously in the sort of modern weapon systems that can operate seamlessly alongside our own. While clearly part of the West, these countries have until now preferred a non-aligned posture. But Putin's aggression has changed everything. It is crystal clear which alliance supports basic international principles like sovereignty, stability, and human rights, and which wannabe empires do not. Europe is rightly recognizing that even if Putin is stopped in Ukraine, he will remain dangerous. He will learn lessons and adapt. More importantly, President Xi will learn lessons as well. All our allies should take a hard look at their military requirements and invest in modernization. The accession of Sweden and Finland would be a strong step in that direction. Finland recently agreed to buy 64 F-35 fighter planes. They already commit 2% of their GDP to defense, and Sweden is on pace to reach that target very soon. These nations are setting an example which current treaty allies would do well to follow. So I'll be proud to continue amplifying their case for accession however I can, beginning with the meeting the Democratic leader and I will host later today. Now, on one final matter, yesterday the average price that American families pay for regular unleaded set an all-time high for the 10th day in a row. 10 straight days of record-breaking gas prices. Getting to work, running errands, driving to church, visiting loved ones, hitting the highway for a modest family vacation, all of it costs 88% more at the pump today than it cost when President Biden put his hand on the Bible last year. And it's not even Memorial Day yet. The unofficial summer driving season hasn't even begun. To be clear, this is not just Putin's price hike. The year 2021 saw the biggest one-year gas price increase in 3 decades, and that was actually before Russia's escalation in Ukraine. Farmers and ranchers, truckers, and small business owners are struggling to keep their tractors, 18-wheelers, and other work vehicles full of diesel. And so, in addition to having to fill up their own tanks, working families are paying for high fuel prices again at the checkout counter. One constituent in Johnson County in my state wrote to my office to lament that rapidly increasing gas prices are making it difficult for everyday people like me to make ends meet. He said he's facing rising costs, but stagnant wages. Another in Ashland described driving past a gas station on his way to work and seeing that prices had hit $4.25 a gallon. He said he's fortunate to be able to pay those prices, but worried others would have to start giving up other things just to put gas in their cars. A third in Brandenburg was dismayed that the Biden administration decided to kill energy lease sales while gas prices are raging. He noted how the timing and nature of this decision display a disturbing disregard for the situation facing American families. Since day one, from canceling Keystone XL to freezing leases for new exploration, President Biden himself has put American energy independence on the chopping block. But while Americans suffer, the far left just digs in deeper. Just yesterday, for example, Secretary Granholm said the volatility in prices was just more reason to accelerate the supposedly green energy transition that Democrats have tried to force on the country literally for years. Forget that their preferred energy sources aren't yet reliable or cost effective. Forget that they would just be exchanging one kind of foreign dependence for new kinds of foreign dependence on Russian critical minerals, Chinese supply chains for solar panels and batteries. Democrat proposals fall embarrassingly short. I understand the House is wasting its time pretending that inflation is all the fault of evil corporate profiteers. Evil corporate profiteers. I guess the profit motive hadn't been invented yet in 2019, when Republicans had unemployment low and inflation low at the very same time. The liberal economist Larry Summers calls the House Democrats' bill, quote, listen to this, dangerous nonsense. Dangerous nonsense. Bill Clinton, Secretary of the Treasury. Jason Furman, another senior Obama advisor, has said the far left claims about so-called greedflation are in fact, quote, unequivocally wrong and confused. And both Summers and Furman were part of the Obama administration. The Biden administration has also drained our strategic petroleum reserve to its lowest level since 1987 in a frantic effort to lower prices. Predictably, this gimmick failed, and now we are much less prepared for a possible future crisis. So you will recall that Senate Democrats gleefully blocked Republicans from refilling the strategic reserve to the top back in 2020 when oil was at rock bottom prices. We tried to do that. These guys blocked it. We could have filled the reserve to the top when crude was on a clearance sale. But Democrats blocked it and bragged about blocking it. So Washington Democrats keep finding new ways to fundamentally misunderstand America's energy needs.